Hello and all, welcome to a Galaxy Man Show interview show. So for my very first guest of this week is this incredible actress known by the name of Christine Hauer. So I'm about to add Christine into the live now to have a chat with Christine about her incredible projects that she's been in. So yeah, let's add Christine in and have a chat with Christine.
Hi, Christine. How's it going?
We did it. Oh my
We
gosh,
did do
so
it.
sorry.
No, you're all good, Christine.
I learned something totally new about my
You did.
Instagram. How it was very old. This app needed to get updated. So thank you.
You're very welcome. So, to people that don't know who you are, Christine, if you can give like a bit of backstory about who you are and what you do, and then we'll dive right into the questions.
Sure. So yeah, I'm Christine Hauer. Like, how are you? I have a background in event planning, and I've been building experiences over the last few years for brands and people. And I've slowly wanted to like bring my artist stuff into more of my world. So over the last few years, I've gotten into acting, gotten into improv comedy, filmmaking, and I just started up a rock and roll band called Cake Tower through my production company that I started up as well. So I write poetry, I guess I'm just all about like experiences and living a full life through all of the things.
Awesome. So we'll dive right into the very first question now, Christine. So in 2020, you were actually in a Christine Carol. What was like the whole experience like getting to be in this Christine Carol?
Yeah, so I wanted to do a one-woman show, and I wrote it for Fringe Festival, Hollywood Fringe Festival, and I had it all ready to go, and then of course COVID happened, and so I rewrote it as a as something that we could film, so that I'm creating a thing called play films, which is a term I trademarked through this project. Where it's live theater, but it's filmed in very short, quick edits, and it's about 30-40 minutes long. So it's like a pocket of a story. And I wrote it and performed it. It's 7 characters. It's all about meeting your past personalities. So I learned a ton about myself writing, different versions of me. And then the filming day was crazy because it was like one day and we just had to like film all of it in a few hours. And I had never performed it. I hadn't even performed in a theater really ever. So the whole thing was just kind of, I learned so much about myself and about how to make stuff.
Awesome. So on to our very next question. So in 2019, you have also been in a series called Jules and Laura, and you actually did directing on Jules and Laura. What was it like getting to direct Jules and Laura, and what was the whole experience like getting to film?
Yeah, Laura is one of my friends I met in Groundlings. I've been through that program and it's the most fun. And her and her partner, Jules, were wanting they're comedy partners. They write together. They're writing movies. They're doing all this stuff. They wanted to do like sketches. And I've been trying to get into directing more and being able to help craft stories. So yeah, really fun. I filmed it on my phone and some on phone, some on camera, and then then they edited it, and now it's like this series, and I just learned a lot about kind of timing and how to make physical comedy, how to capture that as a director, and like being a part of like building the moments that land.
Awesome. So on to our very next question. So in 2019, you were also in a film called Happy, and you actually played the incredible role of Anna in Happy. What was like the whole experience like getting to play Anna in Happy?
Yeah, that was really fun because I'd never played a mom before, and I'm not like I'm planning on not having kids, and like I'm not very I'm motherly, but I don't zero idea of what being a mom is actually like and how hard that must be. So it was fun to work through that as an actor and figure out like, okay, well, what kind of a mom am I? Like, how close am I with my son? Like, are we friends, or am I actually the mom? And the kid that played my kid, he's a man, but like the guy that played my son, was so down to like go there and to try to feel that authentic connection, just love the acting, that like thing you feel when you're doing an acting job that is like robust, and you're like, if I don't do it right, the movie's not going to make sense. So yeah, it was a lot of learning experiences with acting, and then just with like holding down that rooted energy of what like I think a mom brings to movies.
So on to our very next question. So you, as you mentioned, you're in a band called Cake Town. What was it like getting to form this band, and like what's the meaning behind Cake Town?
Yeah, so Cake Tower is like Janis Joplin meets Marie Antoinette. So it's very decadent rock and roll anthems. During COVID, I was living at home with my parents because I was on furlough, and they had a piano. And so I started playing the piano for fun, just to not have technology. Like I didn't want any screens. And then I just started writing songs, and I wrote 10 songs for Christine Carroll. And then I just kept writing more songs. And I was like, this feels like rock music. And then me and my bass player, music supervisor, were in Joshua Tree getting takeout, and we were talking about like towers of cakes and like for high teas. And I don't know, Cake Tower just kind of came out of my mouth, and we thought that was a good band name because it's like decadent layers of multiple types of cake, and it just felt it's silly and fun. Like that's very much the energy of the band, like sexy, silly, and fun.
Awesome. Well, if you could work with any top three like music artists for Cake Town, like if you could work with any, who would you want to team up with like for Cake Tower, and why?
Ooh, I think Miley Cyrus would be so fun to like do anything with. I feel like her style and like the way she sings is very much in line with how what I like. I think also like Harry Styles would be cool to do like a show with. He's got a sense of the same kind of playfulness, but he's also very it's like interesting rock, but it's still rock. You know what I mean? Like it's and then I don't know. I guess I would love to just like Freddie Mercury if he was still alive. I mean, like that. I mean, come on, like I feel like he's my main singer inspo, or Prince, either one. But
Awesome. Sounds like our very next question. So, who inspired you as a person to get into acting in the first place?
I was walking my friend's dog, and this girl on the street was like, "You should go to this open call for Ford modeling agency," and I was like, "Oh, that'll be fun." So I went, and I like very weirdly got signed to Ford Models, and I was the worst model, and they were like, "Can you please take an acting class so that you're not as bad of a model?" And so when I took an acting class, it really opened everything up for me. I had no idea that I was even allowed to be an artist. I thought that was like a special thing that other people were allowed to do, but not me. So that acting class really opened me up, and then I started doing improv and stand-up comedy. And then I moved to LA to, make it a thing, and I got into directing and improv, like more writing. And then now, yeah, like COVID, with the singing, like I'd always written poems, and I, really got into poetry writing. I wrote a poem book last year too. So yeah, I think it was like it opened me up, I guess,
So on to our very next question. So if you could be in any TV or movie franchise, what would it be and why?
I wish I could have been in Game of Thrones. I would have loved that so much. I mean, I love fantasy, and I love like big stories that are complicated with lots of different people involved, like big ensembles. And I think that would have been, or Friends. Like I think a sitcom, like a classic sitcom, like that would have been fun because you get to develop a character over a long period of time, which I would really love to do. So yeah, I think, or Lord of the Rings too. Like either fantasy, like sci-fi movie, or like a classic comedy sitcom.
Do you know what vibe you're actually giving me right now? Like in this
What?
interview, you're actually giving me a DC character vibe, Batwoman.
Oh my God, that would be so
Yeah.
sick.
Because you kind of remind me of like a Ruby Rose kind of character. So
Okay.
yeah, Batwoman.
Let's put that energy out there. I mean, obviously, anything Marvel, anything Disney, like sign me up. Like I love Cruella as well. Like I feel like that character would, like I love playing villains. because it's so different than who I am. But like, you know, I love that. Yeah, I mean, like the Queen of Hearts in Alice in Wonderland would be amazing to play. But yeah, thank you. I love yeah, like I said, fantasy. I love it.
You're very welcome. So on to my very next question. So what have you learnt about yourself as a person and as an actress during COVID?
Well, I learned that we can do anything we set our minds to, really. I mean, the sky's the limit with dreams. I think it made me feel validated in that I'm not crazy for wanting certain things to happen, you know, like everyone deserves to have everything they want, you know, and it's probably, it's different for every person. It's also going to be, the results are never what we think they're going to be, right? Like when we start out on something, it's always different. But if I've just been trying to focus on like what feels good, what are my values, like how do I want to live, you know, like what do I, and just trying to have fun and say yes. And so all of that kind of came from COVID, letting me explore being an artist, kind of with no agenda, right? Because there was no performing, like we just get to like mess around in our rooms. So yeah, just like permission, I think, is the biggest thing.
So on to our very next question. So what are like the positive and negatives into acting or directing, and how do you get through those like negative moments?
I use them, right? Like, I think that's the cool thing about acting is you use how you feel in that moment to bring it into the scene or the character. Because you can't fake it's, you know, like you can tell when people are faking it. And like, I certainly am guilty of this too, but I usually have the most success with acting when I really am and fully feel how I feel, you know, and just bring that attitude into it, and to the motivation of the character, of what the character wants in that moment, and just trying to focus on like getting that and doing it in however way I feel authentically. Usually that works for me. So sometimes pain and like bad vibes actually help with like getting into the character.
Awesome. So on to our very last question, Christine. So what's like next for you for like the rest of 2021, like project wise, that you would like
Yeah.
to next on the show?
Well, my very first rock single comes out July 21. It's called Hell Yeah. So I'm excited about that. I got a show this Saturday at Chelsea Music Hall with the rock band. So doing more live shows. I'm going to try to book, hopefully a tour. That'd be cool. So they do event planning. So just like planning a tour would be really cool. And then building in as many experiences and events as I can. So people can come and have fun and party and hopefully, I don't know, like feel like end this year in like a triumphant, like we made it kind of way.
Yes. Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Christine, for taking the time to join my show. It's been such a pleasure having you on the show today. Do you have like any last final thoughts for people on that watch the show today?
I think I've been learning that boundaries are the most important thing. So that's just been a focus for me. So I guess I would say like everyone has the right and permission to set as many boundaries as they want, because it's your life, and hopefully you feel happy today. I guess I'll say that.